Yeah. Alright, let's check for ghost orbs since old mate doesn't seem to be doing it.
Definitely no fingerprints.
Yeah, no. Oh, shit, hide. Oh, shit, it's right there. Ah, we're dead! No! No! Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me! Ah! Ah! Phasmophobia is a 4-player co-op horror game that exploded in popularity in the latter half of 2020. Offering an addicting experience of fear that doesn't come with annoying jump scares, Phasmophobia is one of the best proofs of concept ever created, all by one man. You play as a ghost investigator, someone whose job it is to enter homes or buildings and use a vast range of equipment to discover what type of ghost is haunting the joint, so that the ghost eradication team can come in and get rid of them. Time is against you, however, since the ghost you go in to detect does not appreciate in the slightest. Phasmophobia is a game that is perfect in its simplicity. The mechanics are very easy to understand, the game has super easy controls, the mission objective is extremely clear, and once you are brave enough to start playing, the experience, while terrifying, keeps you coming back for more. Let's get into what makes it so addicting by looking at the basics of the game, how it works, its pros and cons, and finally see if you should play it in 2021. The game starts by dropping you off in a truck at the location of a haunting. This can range from a tiny suburban house to a horrifying, nightmare fuel, multi-level insane asylum. From here you get to select from a decent range of gadgets and gizmos to help you with your mission. There are a few to go over, so I won't be able to cover them all, but you'd probably recognise all the gadgets if you've watched any form of horror movie or TV show. You've got your EMF reader to detect a ghost presence, a temperature gun that will help you pinpoint where the ghost is because they are very cold bitches, and there's also a spirit box that lets you ask the ghost questions and receive particularly aggressive answers such as, attack! How old are you? Adult. Are you friendly? 8. Are you friendly? Die. Are you friendly? Are you friendly? Hurt. Most of these items have a function and most are useful throughout the mission. There are a few that I haven't even bothered picking up in my 40-hour career, but I suspect patches will come out to improve their usefulness as the game ages. I will say now that this game is still in early access and the one-man dev team is keen on improving the game, so more items may come on down the line, and those less than useful items will probably end up being essential at some point. Once you have picked your equipment, the detecting phase starts. You enter the building and need to use your equipment as well as your ears to find the location of the ghost. This is where the real fear factor sets in. The sound of the game changes to this eerie, spooky, chills down your spine vibe, and the real fun begins. The ghost takes notice of your presence and will usually start making itself known. It will do this by ringing phones, throwing things, turning on and off lights, opening doors spookily, and so on. You use these sounds along with the equipment to find where the bugger is hiding, and hopefully within a few minutes you will have found the ghost room. It's also a good idea to turn the power on. Wandering around in the dark really lowers your character's sanity, and your own sanity, really. Once you have found the ghost room, this is where the game starts to get really cool. You will need to start talking to the ghost, asking for signs, trying to antagonize it, and trying to get it to interact with the equipment you bring from the truck. You do this so that you can slowly collect evidence that will start to pinpoint the type of ghost you are dealing with. Sometimes you'll really need to get under the ghost's skin and prompt it multiple times before it will do what you want. The game has impressive voice detecting coding that lets you do this. It will actively listen to the words that come out of your microphone and the ghost will react based on what you say. You can say, show us a sign, and the ghost might throw a book at you. Or you can chant, fuck you Thomas Jefferson you stupid fuck, and try to get a reaction that way. The game is coded to listen for these cues and help you or punish you based on what you say. And yes, saying Bloody Mary 3 times will get a reaction, and no, the ghost really doesn't like being told to fuck off. These actions start to irritate the ghost and will slowly ramp up the actions it does, and before long, it will start a hunt. I'll take this opportunity to talk about sanity and the ghost's anger, as these are important to the entire mission. Sanity is a measure of how sane your character is feeling, essentially. As you're in the dark, exploring houses and buildings, your character will slowly lose sanity. Experiencing a ghost event, having the ghost show themselves to you, or seeing a dead body all contribute to sanity dropping as well. As your team's average sanity lowers, the chance that the ghost hunts you goes up and up. The ghost also has a hidden anger level that combines with sanity to calculate the chance of a ghost hunting. This means to survive, you need to try to get out of there quick and don't stick around too long. Before it hunts though, you will be using your equipment to figure out what type of ghost you're dealing with. There are 6 pieces of evidence in total, and each of the 14 different ghosts has its own set of evidences attached to it. For example, a spirit will leave fingerprints on things that it touches and will write in the ghost book, while a demon will set temperatures below 0 and speak to you using the spirit box. It can be an evidence collecting mission as well as a process of elimination. A poltergeist will never have freezing temperatures, for example, so therefore you can rule out a poltergeist if the room starts to get a bit chilly. It's a fingerprints, spirit box, and ghost writing, which makes it a spirit. The scariest, most butt-clenching, most panic-inducing moment of the game comes around this point, however, and that is the hunt phase. Once you have angered the ghost, it is going to come after you. The lights will flash, the doors will lock, the EMF will go insane, and you will have no radio. It is at this point where you will need to scramble to the nearest hiding spot, failing to do so of which will get you caught. When the hunt begins, there is a 5-second grace period where the ghost is getting ready to come after you. This is a time where you have to book it and find a spot to hide or run away. Running away is not advised though, since the ghost will gain speed on you the more it sees you, making hiding by far your best bet. The game has inbuilt hiding spots across all of its maps to help you with this. These take the shape of lockers, closets, hidey holes, or even a big piece of furniture. You will hear the ghost stomp around as it comes looking for you. Your character's heart will start to beat as it gets near. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. It will almost feel as if your own heart were racing at 1,000,000 miles a minute, and finally, when the ghost gets you, insidious hands will reach across your face, and you are dead. On a positive note though, this is actually the least scary part of the game. Everything goes bright white and you could just watch your teammates die. Now, like I said, there are 10 different ghosts as of the latest patch, and while all being relatively similar, they all have different quirks, personalities, and will all act in different ways. The poltergeist, for example, will act like a petulant child 100% of the time as it throws anything and everything it can get its hands on. The demon, on the other hand, will act quite aggressively towards the player, appearing to them, turning the lights off, going "ah" in their ears every 5 damn minutes. These aren't ways you can instantly tell the ghosts apart. The game would be far too easy in that case, but it does add to the game's variety. The spirit, by the way, says fuck you to all that and might act like the friendliest ghost around, but then the next minute it'll be hunting like a demon, throwing things like a poltergeist, and chasing you like a revenant. The ghosts all have strengths and weaknesses that set them apart as well. The banshee, for example, ignores the normal rules of hunts and does their own thing. The mare will be less likely to hunt when the lights are on, preferring the shadows, often going out of its way to keep the lights off in the process. Once you have collected your evidence, survived your hunts, and are ready to leave, that's about it. You can make sure you've captured as much evidence as possible to earn more money, but there's no point sticking around since dying nullifies your payout. Once back at the base, you can spend the money you've earned during hunts to buy more equipment and keep on hunting. Oh, and make sure you take good pictures, okay? Headquarters offers a premium on ghost close-ups, so really get in there.
Oh my god.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior, the like button? Don't run away from me! Hit the like button!
Okay, so that was the majority of what makes up this game, but I wanted to get into what makes this game so addicting. It is currently the #1 ranked horror game on Steam and the #20 ranked game of all time on Steam. And really, I think what makes this game so incredible is that the horror aspect, while very scary, doesn't rely on jump scares. The game makes you feel scared because you're about to face off with a ghost, but it gives you the tools to do what you need to do. You never die in a way that is unfair, and when you do die, it's not like it's some shocking, gory display. It's just some creepy hands that go across the screen and then everything is white. You feel like you can combat the fear and overcome it at your own pace. When I first started, the truck was my home. I would look after my teammates from afar, but as I grew more confident, I was able to tackle that fear at my own pace. You feel like you are letting the team down when you don't involve yourself, but involving yourself isn't an awful, white hair-inducing panic moment. You can hide in the closet next to the ghost room, hold both a candle and a light at the same time, maximizing the light around you, and when you are ready, step out of the light and face your fear. When you are scared in this game though, it makes you feel great as well. I'm someone who hates horror movies. I walked out of the movie theater one day with my mate when we went to see It because we were just too petrified of what was to come. This game makes me feel good when you get scared. I want to jump back into the action when I have been scared. I'm not just anxiously walking around corners or being petrified to open a box like I would be in other horror games, and to me, that's truly a special experience. Before I move on, I'll mention that this game is also in VR, and it's all the more terrifying for it. I don't have a VR headset, so I can't really chat about that experience, but from what I've heard, from both online and from my mate, VR only makes it more immersive, and it really improves the overall experience you get. Now moving on to the longevity of this game, for the price you pay, you will get more time out of this game than most AAA titles. 20 hours is an easily achievable goal before you even think of getting bored of it. The problem arises here though, the game can feel repetitive after that many hours. This isn't a bad thing since you get your money's worth, and it is kind of an unavoidable wall. You will get used to the game, and sometimes what might be scary for the first 5 hours will feel trivial at the 25-hour mark. I don't think this is a notch in the game in any way, I just think it's worth mentioning. My one and only genuine criticism of this game, however, is its jank. The game runs well enough, has minimal frame rate drops, and while there are a few bugs, they are constantly being patched. My small gripe is that this game seems to run at the lowest level it needed to. Not a huge amount of effort was put into the fidelity or feel of the game. Everything is very simple. Now again, this is a small gripe. The game does what it needs to do perfectly. You were never bothered by the jank, it just exists, undeniably. This may get fixed in the future. Some updates might come out that make the game feel nicer to play outside of the core gameplay, but that is yet to be seen. Now I want to talk about the previous updates this game has had very quickly that really set it apart from what it was on its initial release. This game has come a long way since release. The ghosts are smarter, scarier, have improved tracking mechanics, and will get you way quicker than they would have on release. The game has improved hunting mechanics where the game can genuinely allow you to hide behind objects now, and ghosts have been gifted with object permanence, meaning you can't just shut the door on them playing peekaboo anymore. If you played this game a bit back in 2020 and haven't come back since, I highly recommend it since you will die. Make no mistake. Alright, it is finally time to get to the final verdict. Should you play this game in 2021? Of course you should. If it hasn't been clear already, I am a big fan of the game. I often come back to it whenever an update drops, and I'm always surprised at the improvements. This game offers satisfying and enjoyable horror to anyone who plays it, even the biggest of scaredy cats. It can be played by anyone at any internet connection, and if you do buy this game, try to make sure you have friends to play it with. It'll be worth it.